Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm Callie. I know it has been a minute, but I've been really busy with work stuff and just general writing, reading, all that stuff. Have not had a lot of time to do filmy things, but I am back in the groove of it and I'm really excited, and I have a pretty big haul to go through. So I have a pretty big haul because about 2 weeks ago, I'm on several Facebook groups for readers, but author specific, like event specific. And one of the author specific groups that I'm in was not giving away, but selling tickets for Wild and Windy in Chicago. And I always comment on these. I've never gotten tickets, but I've always just like, hey, maybe. And sure enough, this person messaged me back and was like, sure, here you go. And I got tickets to Wild and Windy, which was in 6 days. So naturally, I had to prepare. There was no way for me to do any of the pre-orders because all of them were closed because the event was in actually less than 6 days. I think it was in 5 days. Not even, because it started on a Thursday night and I got the tickets on like Sunday. So I looked through the author list, gathered all the books that I had, which was not a lot. I only owned like 7 books, and that was just between 2 authors. I had read more than that. I think I had read 4 authors here but didn't own all of the books. So I gathered what I had. I made a list of authors that I've been wanting to try to go and see, and maybe even make some purchases. I wasn't sure if this was going to be like a Polycom or there'd be an on-site bookstore with all of the authors attending, if the authors were going to have books on their tables or if it was strictly pre-orders. I had no idea what to expect, so I went in with a list in mind, and that was the plan. And I came home with 35 books because I have 0 impulse control, and I am easily influenced. I made a fair amount of good friends at the event who were really helpful while I was waiting in line and just kind of talking, helping me discover new authors based on things that I told them I liked. So naturally, I bought a lot of books. So I'm going to go through all the books that I got, as well as some of the, not swag, but other stuff that I got at the convention that's not a book. So one of the authors that was on my list because I had read them before was Holly Renee. So I ended up getting, they only had the first 3 books in her Stars and Shadows series left. So I picked it up, and funny enough, I had just finished book 3 that Friday morning. So I was really excited. So I got, I think the order, here it is. The order is A Kingdom of Stars and Shadows, A Kingdom of Blood and Betrayal, and A Kingdom of Venom and Vows. I really like this series. It's spicy. It's just every romantasy trope that you could ever want in a series. They're all really quick reads as well. And like, these covers are just so pretty and shiny, and I greatly enjoyed them. Up next, I picked up Love Me Today by A.L. Jackson. This was the convention specific edition, special edition. It was really pretty, and this is a small town romance, and I believe a single dad, which both of those are 2 tropes I will always gravitate towards. This is one of the authors. A lot of these authors are ones that friends that I had made suggested. I think I was waiting in line for A.L. Jackson, and they were like, have you read her? And I was like, I haven't read most of these authors. And they're like, cool, take this. And I was like, oh, okay, say less. Next, I picked up 2 books from Kat Singleton, which is Black Ties and White Lies and Pretty Rings and Broken Things. I picked up Kat Singleton because she was on a panel, which was the Billionaire Romance panel, and I'm a sucker. If they're on a panel and they're talking about their books and I'm instantly intrigued, I'm gonna buy their books. So she was talking about this. The 3rd book comes out. I think it's either out now or comes out in the next month or so. But this sounded like everything that I like in a billionaire romance trope book. We also got a couple of free books that came in the fun little tote that everyone got, which I'm obsessed with. It's a flamingo, and it has it's really cute. So this is what we got when we registered, and there was a couple things in it, including this one, which is technically 2 books. It's One I Left Behind by Piper Rain and Moonlight Thorn by Pete Rain. So I also learned at this convention that Piper Rain is 2 people. Did not know that. So, and I've read Piper Rain before. She was on my list because I had read one of their books before. I got one of their books for free at a Polycon last year. But it was already signed, so I didn't bring that book. But I did want to see them again. And that's where I learned that they're two people. Up next, this book, I don't want to say fell into my lap, but kind of fell into my lap. And that is To Burn in Brutal Rapture by Nileh Kay. I wanted to get For the OnlyFans by Nileh Kay, but she was out of that one. And she was giving away this book because it has a rip in it or something. And they were giving it, I think they were selling it for like $5. And this is a big, thick book. So naturally, she was like, do you want it? It's like I think this was the last book that they had. And I was like, it's damaged, so I'll give it to you at a discount. I'm like, oh, discount? Done. Next, I have Cleric by Gail Harris. The author talked me into this book. I really liked the display that Gail Harris had at her table. So I was like, okay, tell me where to start. Because she does like a mix of like contemporary and dark and like will toe that line. Which is a line I love to also toe. So this is a Rumpelstiltskin retelling, and I was super intrigued by that. Another convention special edition I got was Iced Out by Veronica Eden. Veronica Eden was one of the authors on my list that I've always wanted to check out and just haven't had the time to read. So the Last Chapter Bookstore, which is an independent bookstore in downtown Chicago, was the bookstore for this event. So this is actually a special edition from them that I ended up getting. So it's a hockey romance, which is tied for baseball in my favorite sports romance. Next, I picked up Lessons in Corruption by Gianna Darling. Gianna Darling was actually the first author I saw because they did a wristband system similar to what I've experienced with the Polycon. And she was the lowest number that I had because I ended up getting the VIP ticket. So I got the extra hour in both mornings for the signings. So she was the first author I went to. And my goal was to see every author table, not necessarily to buy something, but just to like see what I would recognize, see what intrigues me. And I was talking to the booth assistant person, and she was talking about Gianna Darling, where to start, to the person ahead of her, and she was describing what Gianna Darling wrote, which again is more darker romance, which I really like. So I think this is, I don't want to say mafia, but it is a criminal story, and it's a whole series like most romances, and I was intrigued. So and she was really sweet. The booth assistant told her, it's like, hey, this is a new reader, like they've never read you. And Gianna was just like, please message me once you finish the book. I want all your thoughts. Don't message me if you don't like it. I was like, it was very cool to just, all of these authors, I'm going to say it a bunch of times, they were all so sweet, so nice. Not a single one of them was an asshole, which I didn't really expect. Like, in the romance genre, a lot of people are just kind and sweet and genuinely good people, which is why I had such a great time at this event. So for one of the authors that I had actually already read, Sarah Kate. So I brought my entire Sarah Kate collection for her to sign, which she did. And I wanted to get both of the Good Brothers books, but they had already run out of the discreet cover of Anti-Hero, but they had one left of Homewrecker. So naturally, I got Homewrecker, which don't get me, and I read Homewrecker already. I read it right when it came out. I love Sarah Kate. I will immediately read her books. They are the perfect line of taboo, contemporary, and just great romances with great spice. So Homewrecker is definitely my favorite of the Good Brothers so far, but I know that there's at least 2 books left of that series. Next is an entire series that I bought, which I did buy two complete series. This author is one of the ones I had on my list that I've been wanting to try and read, but I just haven't had the time, and that is Liz Tomford. So I got Mile High, which is the first one, then The Right Move, and Caught Up. This is, I think they're pilot or hockey romances, something like that. I think there might be both. Yes. She's a flight attendant and he's a hockey player. He's a NBA. That's NBA. That's best friend's brother. Single dad for baseball, and a pastry chef. So all tropes that I love, and I've heard nothing but good things about Liz Tomford. She had one of the longest lines, and I had a pretty high number for her. But I was able to see her on day 1 of the signing and get the books, because I went to the bookstore first at the Last Chapter to see if they had the series, and they didn't. They said they were only at her table, so I was like, okay, crap. So I got to the table, and I'm like, I want one of everything. And they laughed at me, and I was like, no, I'm serious. Give me one of everything. This next author, I don't want to say bullied into buying a book from, but a little bit. So I think this was one of the girls who I was waiting in line with, her favorite authors. So that is Lena Hendricks. So I got book 1 of her 2 series, which is Dueling Families. So it's like two separate series, but they interconnect with each other. And that is One Look, which is the Sullivan family series, and Just This Once, which is the King family series. Really excited. Small town. I think one of these is single dad, firefighters, like so many great, yeah, this one's single dad, this one's firefighter. Tropes I adore. Listen, I'm easily influenced, and I refuse to apologize. So another person, completely separate from the Lena Hendricks, this person I was waiting in line for, we got donuts together, which was very fun. She said that Jennifer Hartman was her favorite author, and I was like, okay, I've heard of her. She was on my list of authors I wanted to check out because I had recognized her book, I think Steel Beating, and I was like, is that where I should start? And she's like, no, start with June 1st. So I bought June 1st. Then I have Falling for a Rock Star by Michelle Mencken. This is actually like a collection of books. I think it's like 7 short stories. This is the other free book that we got in the tote when we arrived. Michelle Mencken was actually one of the organizers, so it was kind of hard to pin her down to get her to sign these. I ended up finding her in passing as I went to go get a water. Next is Avery Maxwell. She was also on a panel. What panel was she on? I don't remember what panel it was. It wasn't the Billionaire panel. It was the first panel I went to that I can't remember. I went to a lot of panels, guys. But she was talking about her book, Without a Hitch, and I was instantly intrigued. So the second day, I went and got this book. Next, I got this book, which was Flirt by Lucy Lennox. I ended up getting this at a panel. I went to the Love is Love panel, which was all authors who write gay or sapphic romances. And I had never read that. I mean, I've read sapphic, but I've never read gay romances. So they asked who is new to the genre, and I raised my hand and I got a free book out of it. Plus, they were all really sweet, and they all sounded really good. Next is Natasha Madison, Mine to Have. I bought this solely because the author was the sweetest human being I've ever spoken to in my life, and she looked adorable, and it's a small town romance, so this is where I'm starting, and I was really excited. Okay, so this is the other full series that I bought, which is, I don't know the name of the series, to be honest, but it's by Tia Louise. And the order goes A Little Taste, A Little Twist, A Little Luck, and A Little Naughty. And this was, again, a recommendation from some friends I made, solely because I think it's the last one, A Little Naughty, is based off of Taylor Swift, or there's a character based off of Taylor Swift, and I was wearing a different Taylor Swift sweatshirt, but I had just gotten my new edition of the Eras Tour sweatshirt, so I wore that for most of the convention because it was really comfortable, but everyone commented on it, so I became the new Swiftie friend, which I'm a-okay with being categorized as that, but they noticed that I like Taylor Swift, so she recommended this book, and it was book 4, and so I couldn't just not get the other 3, plus she was having a sale, and yes. I have 3 Simple Rules by Nikki Sloan. This was another free book that they were handing out at the convention, so naturally I have this. Nikki Sloan was, again, another author I had on my list of ones to check out. They didn't have the one that I wanted, which was The Pool Boy, but they had book 2. Okay, so to be fair, when I bought this, I thought it was book 1. And then after I had paid for it, they said it was book 2. So, this is The Obsession by Nikki Sloan. So I'll have to read book 1 first before jumping into this one. Okay, the next author drew me in really well. So she had a life-size cutout of Dr. Spencer Reid from Criminal Minds because she wrote a romance on if Spencer Reid got his romance that he deserved in the show. And Criminal Minds is one of my favorite shows. So naturally I was drawn to that. And then I was looking and they had another kind of Taylor Swift inspired story called Reputation. So naturally I had to get them both. Next is another one that I was influenced to buy by my friends, and that is Wrong for You by Harlow Ray. It's the single dad romance. Can you tell what one of my favorite tropes is? And small town. So she was also on the panel. That was the panel. It was small town romances. That's what it was. That was the panel from Avery Maxwell, as well as Natasha Madison. Those were the panels. That was the panel I went to that I really enjoyed because I love small town romance. So I got this one. Next, I got another convention special edition, and that is The Ritual by Chantal Tessier. This is a dark romance that I've been really wanting to try out for a while. I wasn't initially going to get this book, but then I saw how pretty it is, and I couldn't say no. Okay, I only have 3 more. So the next one I got is The Games We Play by Dana Eiley. I think this book actually won the poll I just put for the first book that I should read, and this is a masked gamer romance that I'm really excited for. Next, I have The Harder They Ride by Coralie June. This I got, my friend and I actually got together because there was an art print that they were showing us that I cannot show on here because it is not safe for work, that convinced us to get this book. And the last one that I got, I just thought the cover was cute, and that is The Keeper by Bella Matthews. It is a hockey romance, and I am a sucker for hockey. I think it's hockey and ice skater, which is by far like top 5 tropes. So really excited to dive into this series as well. So those are all the books that I purchased or got. I didn't technically buy all of them. I did get a couple other things. So they all have like swag. So I have all of these prints, or it's just information about these authors. Some of them are art prints, some of them are reading orders. So I have all of this that I have to go through. They also have a ton of bookmarks. So this is every single bookmark that I got from the event in the mug that I bought, which says always in my fantasy romance era. I thought it was super cute. And I won a I think it was they had a little spinny wheel, and I got like a 50% option off of it, which was really fun. So I bought the mug, and then someone at the convention was making these tiny little books, which are so cute. So I have a couple of those in here because they're adorable. This is a cover model who was there signing bookmarks, right there, front and center. But yeah, so this is where I'm gonna keep all my bookmarks to read all these books from. So I also did a couple other things. So I actually bought this book sleeve, which I thought was really cute, as between the pages of a book is a lovely place to be, and it even says Chicago, May 2024. But what I bought it for was it has this thing. So I got this all signed by all the authors. You can tell I ran out of room. I ended up being able to see every single author at this convention and have them sign at least this. And I brought this. So I have a ton of these that I always bring to book signings or conventions like this. So I brought an empty one thinking that I would be able to fill it pretty easily. And I did. So, and then I wrote at the bottom, Wild and Windy 2024. But I'm really happy with how this turned out. And that is my Wild and Windy experience. I had a great time. I made really good friends. They all inspired me to get better at filming, get better at Instagram, gave me some pointers, and I've just made more bookish friends, and I'm pretty happy about that. So definitely will try and go again next year, because it's so convenient being in the Chicago area. I was able to just stay with my parents and then drive up to the event every morning. Overall, great time. So we'll be going again if I can get tickets. But that's going to be it for today's video. Please like, comment, subscribe to our channel. We post when we can. Thanks, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!